Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is a privilege and an honor to be back here again, sharing my story, sharing my testimony. And as always, get your popcorn, put your feet up, and let's dive right in as I begin my story of how I became a minister. And I really want to start right here tonight. Um, I can remember just growing up playing sports. I believe my first year of sports was when I was in the eighth grade. No, it was the seventh. Yeah, eighth grade. I played basketball for my local middle school. And I had a great time. I didn't even know I was gonna make the team. I was like one of the last guys to like make the pick. The coach is just looking around for a guy, and hey, he picked me. So I was on the basketball team. Really didn't know much about basketball. Kind of played basketball when I was younger. I remember playing in the yard, and we nailed one of the crates to the basketball. To the tree, and that's where we would play basketball. So I really wasn't familiar with basketball. Basketball was just something I seen older kids in my neighborhood play. So I just kind of thought, maybe I can try out for the basketball team and make the basketball team. And by my surprise, I made it. Wow, me make the basketball team. Really wasn't an athletic person. I really was kind of my bones and joints and all that things was just like I really wasn't athletic at all. I did have a little quickness about myself. So I guess that's kind of what won the coach over. I was a real silent guy. And I can remember our first game. I was excited about the first game. We went through several different middle schools in my era and played a lot of different middle schools. And one of my most embarrassing times while playing basketball for my local middle school was when we played this team. And I remember going into the game. I went into the game. I was a real defensive minded guy, and I was always competitive and tough. So this guy, I began to guard. I believe he was playing point guard at the time, and he was dribbling the ball down. And I remember guarding him full court. And as I guarded him full court, I'm guarding him, I'm defending him, and we get probably about to the middle of the court, and man, this guy went in one on me. This guy hit me with a crossover. I was so embarrassing. This guy hit me with a crossover that shook me off my feet. I literally fell to the ground. And it was a lot of people at the game during that time. So everybody was cheering, people were shouting, people were screaming. A lot of the other students and stuff, real competitive game. And I began to just guard this guy all the way from when he got the ball on the other side of the court. And we get to the middle of the court, and this guy hit me with a crossover like Allen Iverson. I fell completely to the ground. And all I can remember in that moment was everybody from the opposite side was just saying, ooh, and they just went crazy. And man, that was one of the most embarrassing times when I was just playing sports. And I believe that right there was the last time I ever really wanted to play basketball because I really wasn't a good basketball player. I just was real competitive, and I just put all my heart into whatever I was doing at that time. So that was like my first year of basketball. And then the following year, I ran track. I remember running track. Really wasn't that fast, although, like I shared with you guys, I was very athletic. During that time, I was running track. A lot of guys I grew up with, a lot of guys stayed in different neighborhoods. So I began to run track, compete with other local middle schools in my neighborhood and in my city and also in my county. And as we began to just go through different track meets, I wasn't always fast. I did get fast over the course of time, but that first year of track, my 8th grade year, a lot of guys was beating me, even though a lot of times in my races, I came like third or fourth sometimes. I was always in the middle of the pack. But I love the track. Track and field just really gave me so much excitement. I just love the atmosphere. I love some of the dents. I mean, it was just like the crowd would really get you into it, where you can just kind of just feed off their emotion, feed off their excitement, and you can hear them as you're running your race, whether that's a relay or whether it's just an individual race. And I just love the atmosphere about track. And during that time, I also started playing football. So I was kind of playing football and also running track too. And even in football, I can recall I really wasn't, like I say, wasn't a top player, although I was very athletic. I recall my first year of football, I really didn't even play that much. Uh, it was required from the organization that, you play, I believe at that time it was like 6 plays. You had to, if you was on the team, if you wasn't a good player, they still had to play you. So I recall getting my little 6 plays, going back to the bench. And this went on like my first year. And then I ran track that following year. And during these times, God was silent. I mean, he was just silent. Not saying that he didn't want to talk. At this time, I wasn't going to church. And like I said, the very few times I was going to church is because I would go with my grandma, and she had passed away a couple years prior to that. So I really wasn't going to church at this time. So sports was kind of my life. Sports was something that kind of kept me out of trouble. Sports was just something that I looked forward to, getting out of school, going to practice, hanging out with. I played sports with a lot of my childhood friends. So, it was just always a culture where I just hung out with the people I was brought up with in my neighborhood. And it was a good experience. It was a good thing to be in at that moment. And I can recall, I believe my second year of football, I don't even know what happened. I mean, I had some supernatural stuff just kind of happened to me. I remember my second year of playing football, my knees was starting to hurt. And I was telling my mom, like, hey mom, my knees hurt. Even telling my coaches, like, I don't know what's going on with my knee. I'm having like knee problems. They're like so sore and just so achy. And I didn't know what was going on. But all I know, the next time I got on a football field, I was blowing the doors off everybody. Everybody who originally was more faster than me and athletic than me during my 8th grade year, my 9th grade year, none of those guys couldn't even whoop me no more. It's like, I don't know what happened during those times. I just remember my knees hurting. And I believe it was just a supernatural event that just happened. Like 1 year later, I had these problems with my knees, and like both of my knees had developed like a hump in them, and they swelled for a little while, and then once the swelling went away, oh my God, I was one of the fastest youth guys at that time. I believe I was playing junior peewee at that time, and I remember something that was so funny to me. I remember when I came back to play my second year of Pop Warner football, I remember our coach saying, God, leave that boy fast. Who was that? And then one of my other coaches was like, Coach, he was with us last year. And I was kind of shocked too. I didn't know what happened. All I know, I just had these issues with my knees. And after that, I just became one of the fastest guys on the football team. And I started in the running back position, and it was just an awesome time getting that experience. And then and I remind you, a lot of the guys who I played football with, um, they ran track as well. And a lot of those guys was more faster than me. That first, initially 8th grade year, I ran track. So when we came back, when we got to the 9th grade center, none of those guys couldn't whoop me no more. They just, everybody just kept asking me, what happened, man? What you was doing? I said, I don't know. I just had this issue with my knee, and they swelled up and they grew like a little hump on it. And I just got fast after that. And I was not like no regular fast. I mean, I was fast. Like I was blowing those guys. Those guys couldn't even whoop me in a race, never ever, no more after that. And that was just like one of the awesome experiences that I always like asking. Still to this day, I don't even know what happened. I just know my knees swelled up, and I just started being fast in it. So I came real competitive running track and also playing football. And I ultimately came to running back, and I was, scoring touchdowns and started to develop a real fan base in my city, in the little town I stay in. And people loved me. People always talked about how fast I was, how athletic I was. And I was just thanking God, because I don't even know what happened. This is only like my my 3rd year even participating in a sport. And man, I don't know what happened. I kind of, that first year, transitioning into that second year, I was more athletic than all the other guys who was more athletic than me the following year. So I was just still shocked and still in disbelief to what happened. All I know is my knees swelled up. I thought I had bad knees. I thought I was injured. But man, once the swelling went down to my knees, I was blowing the doors off all of them. And man, that was just an awesome time in my life, just enjoying sports, being just recognized as one of the fastest guys in the neighborhood, and guys from everywhere in the neighborhood, at school, they would want to race me and things of that nature. And man, it was just an awesome time growing up and as a newcomer to sports, and just getting, that reputation right off the first couple of years of even playing sports. So that was one of my testimonies of, growing up and how I really got involved in sports and really got a name in my neighborhood, and how people started recognizing me for my athleticism. And that was just a great time to be able to just share those moments and be around those great group of guys who I grew up with. We had some great times playing football, running track, and also the one year I played basketball. I played no more basketball since that day. But I always, played some type of form of basketball in my neighborhood and stuff, but not on, on the team dealing with any school record name. I wasn't going for that, but that was just one of my testimonies of how, just sharing with you guys how I grew up, where I grew up, and how I was a normal kid, just played sports and did other things. But one of the things that I can remember during that period of time, God was silent. I didn't hear from God. I didn't attend church during that time. And I thank you all for being able to be here tonight. We will be back with more content. I promise you, we're going to be back. And I want you guys to stay, because this next story is really, it's going to blow your mind. I'm going to dive right back into some of my sports times when I played sports, but it's something real detailed that I want to share with you guys during those times when I played sports. So join me And as I always tell you guys, feel free to like, comment, share, and as always, subscribe to my channel. And I will be right back here with another video and sharing my testimony of how I became a minister. God bless you all, and we'll be back. God bless you.